Today I am at somewhere truly special known as the Lake of Dreams. I'm joined this time with Ian and Theo. Now they've been banging on about coming here for literally about 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And we're going, when we're going down to Dean's, and it's finally happened. They've been caning me, they really have, and we're here and I'm excited, but I know the boys are as well. With a tasty mouth of this particular private venue, I wanted to touch on some of them beauties that have come out of my previous sessions. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes now to sit back, grab the popcorn, get yourself your coffee, pause it now, go and get yourself a coffee and check out what some of these fish are about. Unbelievable. What an absolute mega fish. Let's get this one back. Happy days. And look at that. That's exactly why it's called the Lake of Dreams. £36.8 in the Parker Baits. Does it again, baby. Yes! That's not a comment, that's Queenie. There we are. Wow. I'm fish. I'm 99% sure it's a fish called Queenie. I'm blown away by this one. Definitely up my weight. £36 on the nose. Absolute beauty. Or Nosser pig, as we say here at the Parker Baits YouTube channel, baby. Yes.
Just cutting over the top of the camera.
Yeah. What a moment. Thank you very much, Dean. Harry. What a lump, mate. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Moment. What a moment. So there it is. As you can probably see, yeah, this lake throws up some absolutely crazy fish, and I mean some of the most beautiful fish I've got in my photo album. Right, so rods, right hand rod is going to go in the middle on this tree here. I need to find the wraps, I need to do them in a minute. Over the back there is where Ian's spot when he's fishing. On point, to be fair, about half a rod length off where that marker is, or the marker in the horizon over the back, should I say. So left hand rod. Now what I've done is, I know a spot over there. It's on this first tree. You might be able to just see my Parker baiter. Now I've put a rod over there. You're not allowed to walk this bank. It's about as far as you can go on this bank. So I've got my Parker baiter. I've tightened my line up down here now, so it's going straight to the Parker bait. I've like twisted it around the end and whipped it around a couple of times around the head of it. So I know my line's tight. And I've got a little bucket of goodies. I'm going to go over there in a second. So I've got a PVA bag there. That is going to be on the rod. And in there is a little natural 12mm monster crab sexy bean. I'm going to put in some Swimbooker flat spot, the garlic one, is where I'm going to inject the bag. I've got a little bit of salt in there, put a bit of that in the mix, and one little tub of our fish, OG fish, 4, 6 and 8 squid and octopus infused pellets. So I'm going to just a handful, enough for a bite. So that left hand rod is literally going to be over that, bit of salt, a bag, flat spot. That is what I'm going to do with the left hand rod. Right hand rod's a different kettle of fish. I'm going to spom over the top of that and give it to them a bit more. So I'm going to have one rod on bait, one rod not on bait, and let's see what happens. But for now I need to go around there and I need to set this rod up and get it in the water. And if I do catch something, I'll go over in great depth over the duration of the next couple of days, how I've set that rod up and what I'm doing over there. For further details on this. I did do a little bit with Brad in the last video, so when this video is finished, go over, check it out. And I actually lost one from this point over there, a good one. I had one in the net over on the point where Ian is, and I lost one from over there, so I had that in the net, and then the other rod from my left hand rod screamed off, and yeah, that's where it was from. Theo's up from that, and there it is, a beautiful house. What a back garden, what a back garden, and lovely to be back up the Lake of Dreams. As you can see, he's fishing on point. They're going lovely over there, so fair play to him. He's got a rod on the money, and now he's dancing.
She's on the money.
She's on the money. I'm in need.
Baby, I'm a spawn master.
Baby, I'm a spawn master. You can trust in me. You're a joker, mate. Oh, I'm shaking. That was madness, that was. So I've come back, I've dropped it over there, ran back, put my bobbin on, and my bobbin's pulled up. Tips bent ever so slightly, almost took the line out my hand. Not aggressive enough to hit it, but like obviously the fish are on the spot. Anyway, with that, I've put the alarm on, put the bobbin on, slackened the line right off, put my tip in the clay in front of me, even to try and push it down and then have my line lay better. Anyway, I've done that, clicked the bobbin on, went back round there again. Massive mist up. I'm like, oh my God. I wasn't expecting it to be that quick, like fish to be there in the zone, and they're definitely over there, or one or fish at least, because I literally didn't see the fish, but just saw this big old plume come up where it's erupted the bottom, and it's just put this cloud up, and I was literally watching it. Polaroids on, watching it. So that left hand rod, hopefully a quick bite would be lovely. It really would. Right hand rod out. I literally hit the bank, and I've just flicked the rod back, and the bag's just land that far off the bank. I'm like, yeah, staying there, mate. Got the line laid, put it down, job done. Up on, clip on, bobbin, pulled out the line, so it's really sat line, done the tip thing again, pulled the line right out, so I know that line is completely slack. But yeah, well happy with that. After seeing that fish, the plan of action was to put a bit of bait in, but obviously knowing that there's fish over there, I think it'd be naive to start going spomming the living death out of it, because I know fish are down here. Ian's obviously done that. Were they there? Have they moved? I don't know. Obviously Theo's obviously put spoms out as well. I'm gonna opt not to do that. I've got that other bag, and then obviously that one with just that little pot, that little sexy pot of OG fish pellet, the 4, 6 and 8 just sprinkled over the top, so I can keep going around sprinkling a little bit over the top if I want to on that left hand rod, one of the rods. For now I'm going to just fish on a bag unless I start seeing fish show on a spot, or I can get something going and I'll act upon it and put more bait out if necessary. But yeah, that's the update for now. Time to sit back, lock on and digest what's going on, sort of watch the water for a little bit now, and I'll probably pop over and see the lads in a second. But yeah, exciting times ahead. We've got our first night tonight, and obviously tomorrow night, and then home, I don't know, midday, sort of Sunday. So the Lake of Dreams, baby, we're back, and there's a 40 gonna come out. That is my view at the moment. Lovely little street light on, if you like, by the lake, little stubby. Rod's out, and time for an early night. I might even treat myself to a couple of extra hours in bed in the mornings. I tell you what, it's been a busy week at Parker Baits HQ, and I'm absolutely knackered. Been over the cooking side with Theo, and it's just been busy. Orders coming out of orders, but I can't thank everybody enough for supporting us in our family business. It truly does mean the world. But hopefully tonight something happens down this end. If it doesn't happen tonight, which normally happens up here, this first little bit you don't catch nothing. The first night, second night seems to happen, but I could see the fish, if the wind picks up again tomorrow, getting down this end. So fingers crossed. For now, I'm getting early night, and I'll see you all very soon. Gosh, so coffee time, and I've got my little Parker Baits mini mix bag there to stop the grass getting damaged, but I mean that stows pretty good anyway. But just for my own mind reassurance, if you're wondering what that is, Ian's down. Got my Sports Direct mug. He's got his fancy Fox one probably. That's Ian all over though. Again, nothing through the night, but then that was expected. I said this last night, I wasn't expecting anything to happen on that first night, because to be honest with you, every time I've come up here, nothing's happened on the first night. So today will be the day. I've had a text off Pete this morning. He's like, mate, it's been pretty good between 9 and 11 in the morning, which is slightly earlier to what it's been for me. Normally it's sort of 12, or sort of, if I'm honest with you, 2 onwards normally does the bites up here on the second day. You've got some geese over the back there, back of the island with their babies. That's pretty. Very cloudy this morning, but the sun is just breaking through up there. So I'm looking forward, and here you go. Ian's just turned this round, and this is the weather forecast today. It looks ridiculous. So have a little look at that.
Shame we'll be home by then, but it's going to be lovely to dry out in the afternoon.
Yeah, nice. So that's that. Again, nothing from Ian, but lots of aggressive liners, but I'll be sure to touch base with them over the next couple of...
Quick hide, Theo's coming.
Theo's over there. Do you want a coffee? So have I. Theo goes, you want a coffee? I said, Dad, do you want a coffee?
To be fair, he has got the biscuits, so...
He's got the biscuits. Oh.
We'll be rounding forward.
I'm on my way, dear.
Help is on the way, dear!
Mrs. Doubtfire!
Help is on the way!
I'm on my way, honey. Well, you join me here as the master chef in his natural habitat is on breakfast duty. Being a master chef, he detoured our journey yesterday to the local butchers. As you can see, this is none of your local shop bought stuff. This is straight from the pigs behind. Watch as he struggles to open in the packaging before cooking the succulent bacon for the boys' empty stomachs. Sizzling bacon. Well, Benjamin, you join me live here from the Lake of Dreams. Now, all jokes aside, it's the first morning. We got here about lunchtime yesterday, had a walk around with Dean. Lovely couple, lovely family here, and this place is, when Ben calls it the Lake of Dreams, when you actually turn up, it blows all expectations out the water, it really does. We're now 10 o'clock on the Saturday morning, so first night out the way. It's not known for a bite on the first night, but I did think a few times I got lucky. Liners like I've never had liners before. A rod tip just bang, bang. There's me jumping out my bivvy, going to grab it, and it all stops dead. So yeah, either somebody's playing jokes with me, casting over me lines to give them a little tug to get me out of bed in the night, or there's some big old fish bashing these lines out here. So we've seen a few bosses. There was a cannonball. Cool, I think we went to bed about 11 after Dean had come down last night, had a good chat. It's lovely to be able to speak to him, hear his passion on the place as well. And he turned up. He obviously they brought the bit of plot of land, should I say, got the house done. The house is lovely. It reminds me of when you watch all them American films and they go to their summer lake houses. It's exactly like that. Finding out the lake wasn't actually here, so he's dug this from scratch. I think he said back in 2016, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Let it mature back down to 2018.
Stocked it late 18.
Late 19, wasn't it? I think
Late
he says.
18.
Late 18, early 19. So it's been matured, and fish have been in here for six years now. It's not something that's regularly fished. It's obviously invite only, so anyone that is asking, I reckon I've had about 100 messages since I've been here. How do I book that place? How do I book that? But it is invite only. But yeah, it's lovely to hear how he's put the fish in, he's nurtured the fish, brought them through, saying, a bit like we had this year. Obviously, anyone that's watched the video already, we netted our lake, and you have to be cutthroat. We pulled out about 2,000 fish about this big, and me and Theo were there grading the little ones while Ben and Tom were doing the big ones, and we were like, keep, and Ben was like, boys, we've got to be cutthroat. The whole point of it is a biomass. And to sit here, I don't know a lot. I've never claimed I know a lot about a lake and how it works and things like that. But we learnt a lot on the day when we were doing ours, and we're learning every day that we're trying to mature our lake and get the biomass right, get the feeding right to what we've got in there. And to sit there and listen to Dean, and he says the same. He's had 6 years, well, 8 years of lake, but 6 years with fish. And he says every day you're still learning about it, but to listen to him morning, night, every single day, comes down, checks the oxygen levels, checks the pH levels. And one of his biggest bits of advice, which I wasn't expecting to be the main key advice, was make sure you got yourself a good testing kit. And it just shows the difference in the stamp of the fish in here. There might only be, I think 34 went back in after the netting, and he reckons there's probably around 50 fish in here.
Spring fed, isn't it?
Spring, yeah, it is spring fed, but to look at the stamp of the fish and how he's grown them, he reckons there's 5 now knocking on that 40-pound mark. 5 out of 50 fish, that's absolutely incredible. And every fish is an absolute banger. So yeah, absolutely buzzing to be here, over the moon.
So you join me with Theo now, and he's over there in his natural habitat cooking the food, as Ian's mentioned already, mate. You know, I'm normally the chef, not just the chef at Parker Baits, but the chef
on the bank.
Yes. As well, mate. So talk us through, mate. First of all, I've got to ask you, first impressions, when you turned up yesterday, what was going through your mind when you first saw the Lake of Dreams?
It's just mind blown, to be honest. Like, it's mad when you turn up here. It doesn't feel right. You're pulling up on someone's driveway out the front of their house, and you're getting your barrow and all your gear out, and it's just like, it is surreal. You think, this doesn't feel right, and then you walk through and you're like, wow, look at this place. Like, it's immaculate. Like, the attention to detail, even with like the grass, the bushes,
the plants,
all the plants are so neat. Like, you look at the plants on the island, they're trimmed constantly. Like, the bloke really does care about this place, and you can tell that very much so by not only the place and how it looks, but by the stock and his fish.
Yeah.
Crazy looking through the photos and seeing what's in here to potentially catch. And yeah, it was just really cool to see. And we saw a few fish show, and yeah, we walked around, and Dean walked us around the lake, and he was very much like, oh, you've got to swim here, you've got to swim here, and you've got to swim here. So we were like, perfect, right, we just got to decide who's going to go in what swims, basically. Dean said, do you want to do it old school and we'll pick twigs? And I was like, yeah, I like that. The boys were like, yeah, let's do that.
We were.
So obviously we said, Ben, you got to pick first. You know, you've been here before, so pick your first straw. And we didn't know who was getting what. I picked second, and Ian picked third. And yeah, it ended up that Ben got the short straw, I got the medium straw, and Ian got the first straw. So yeah, we picked where we wanted to go, and obviously I couldn't not go where I know that fish have been out from before, and where I'd seen a few fish show. And yeah, it's just crazy, mate. The fish that have been coming out of here, we've seen them boshing, and yeah. We've seen them fizzing.
It's going to be interesting to see what the next couple of days bring, mate. And
exactly,
it truly is. We've got one more night tonight, off tomorrow, midday-ish, something like that. But yeah, it's going to truly be interesting. But we're going to enjoy our bacon this morning.
Exactly. We've got bacon cooking. It is looking absolutely lovely. So yeah, absolutely buzzing for a bit of breakfast.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed it happens.
So back to Ian, and let's talk rods then, mate. So where have you put them? Why did you put them where you did, and what you're fishing on?
Well, first left-hand rod here is pretty much, what would you say, 2-3 rod lengths off the back.
Yeah.
That was a spot, obviously, you said known to do some fish.
Yeah.
So
had fish off there myself.
Yeah,
There's
you
like a
have.
single tree in there as well. So at night time, on the horizon there, you can get a rod back out there. Is sort of on the end of the reeds, if you like. And what I do.
Just over 16 wraps it turned out to be yesterday. Had a little bit of spawn yesterday, didn't I? I had a good old afternoon.
And to be fair, mate, your spawn was on point. But I'll get Steve to pull into this reed line now. You're fishing at the end of it, so I'll put an arrow on the end of it, and then you can also see that.
Literally in line with that coot now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
But yeah, so we've had a few big liners on that one, as I said before last night. I'm actually, because of the liners, I started with a solid bag on there yesterday, but the intensity of the liners that I'm getting over there, I think it's from coming through the island, but it's full tip round, bobbing on the bottom, so I'm tightening the bobbin. I'm worried with my solid bag, it's going to be pulling that lead and everything through away. So I've actually changed that up this morning to a stiff boom, and that's now sitting on a Ronnie with a little Romy special on it, little yellow one.
Love that.
Done me last 2 trips out, done me a bite, and then the right hand rod. I was going to go more sort of off the edge of the island. When I spoke to Dean yesterday, he reckons it sort of comes down off either side of the island, but then it's a straight 10-foot cut down this bit. And I love an island, I'm not going to lie. I don't fish many places with islands anymore, but wherever I did, I'd always like got to be up against the island. It does, mate. And it sort of cuts in, and we got here yesterday. I said to Theo, "Oh, watch this, mate. Bang, ping. It may as well bounced off that little post over there." And I was winding him up saying, if you want casting lessons, come give me a shout. But I know it's lovely there. I had a few knocks, few liners on it yesterday. And where I've heavily spotted out on that spot over there, I sort of left this one yesterday afternoon, probably 5 or 6 catapults, but I've not.
So what bait have you put out, mate, on the spot?
This one here is on this one's actually in a solid bag, original fish wafter, mini mix, and obviously fish dust
and
at the bottom.
Have you put much over the top of it?
So yesterday afternoon, I got some 40mm OG fish, a couple of catapults, probably 20, but instead of going all on one spot like I normally do, I've sort of scattered it across the front of the island, probably 5 little scatters across the island, covering, I don't know if you can see it, from that little wooden stake, 3/4 of the way down to just the red bit of the island. So in that area there, I've done a few close to the island, a few away, probably covering probably a 12-foot by 3-foot sort of area. And then I'd done a bit of pellet last night. Obviously the pellet was a bit harder to get out, but it sort of scattered the same sort of area.
Chopped fruit and nut, wasn't it, on the other rod?
On the other rod it was chopped fruit and nut, whole fruit and nut, cooking dust. Obviously the benefits of Theo making a mess each day is I go in with a dustpan and brush after every shift and sweep up all the boily dust. So that crumbing that you're getting on I do it with the fish as well, that crumbing that you're getting on the outside, that is being recycled. So I pull that down, and obviously it's not going to be going to the bottom, but I like to use it as like an intensitive, bringing an attractor in, like clouding that water up and the flavour signals coming down through the thing, trying to sort of get them in the area, smelling and tasting the flavours, but then having to nestle down to find what it is instead of it being through the cloud. That's what I've always done, and it's always done me quite well. And then this morning I have put a few more spoms over this area again, but a lot of it was fish chops, fish dust, and a bit more fish pellet. So that's where I'm fishing, that's how I'm fishing, a bag and a Ronnie, and we'll see. Hopefully I can bring you an absolute monster, because there is some beauties in here, baby.
Right, wow, going for a little wander round, and the wind's certainly trickling down this end at the moment. So you've seen Ian, seen Theo, seen where they are fishing. There's some lovely little features down here. So you got there's a bar that's down this end. There's a few shallower bits you can see quite clearly, but just around here is where I've got my rods. I've got my trusty little pellet bucket here of the fish pellet and all. Scared off a coot or a moorhen. Just down here, if I'm quiet enough now, you'll see the spot. Now I've got the Parker bait here I've been using, but just down there is where I keep feeding them. And look at that wind trickling in this bay, lovely baby, absolutely lovely. Right, I'm going to try and get some of these pellets out. Couple more. Right, well, that's the half a pot of them pellet over, and I'm going to continue doing that, tricking it in that spot just down there with the wind coming in this bay. and I'm just going to leave them. Obviously I put them out yesterday, had that little bit of an occurrence. I'm going to repeat the process today if I need to. I'm going to probably redo the rods in a couple of hours, but for now it's primo. There was fish down here yesterday this sort of time, so hopefully there's fish down here today similar time. Come on, Carp. Wow, a bit of a mad moment really. I've just walked round there and I've seen a fish off the back of the spot feeding, tail up. But to be honest, I sat over with Ian, got a few liners. I thought, I'm fishing really slack, and that's what made me go around there. And I see it, and I see another fish over to the left, about a rod length off it, glide over the spot, walk back round into the corner and see another fish in the top. So I've seen 3 fish, definite sightings down this end. And now I'm getting liners on that left hand rod. There's definitely something feeding over there at the moment. That's the rod that I put out yesterday and I haven't touched it since. So Parker bait a jobby. I'm going to sit back now for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes and see if it goes.
Coming into the final evening now at the Lake of Dreams for myself, Ben and Theo. Still nothing on the bank yet, unfortunately, but there is still time. We've got till sort of midday tomorrow. We've been well fed again tonight. We went to the butcher's with minted lamb chops, burgers, chicken wings, you name it. Dean and Pete have been down, so I had a nice little evening with them, having a little chat. One has actually boshed over the back of my spot tonight. I've pretty much touched the reeds tonight. Apparently there's a new channel that's been dug beginning back end of last year in there. So I'm actually sitting in there. So fingers crossed on that. I know Ben had a few murking up the water down his today, and Theo's just redone his rods as well. So coming into the final evening, as you can hear, it's flat calm. The weather, the wind's completely died down now, which is nice. Yeah, the evening's coming in. We're here. Hopefully the next time you see me, Ben or Theo, it's going to be with an absolute nosser on the bank. Good night.
So here it is, last night at the Lake of Dreams. Struggling to focus, but you get a gauge. Got the light down here, and the rods are over by the other light over there, so, or a little bit further down should I say. But yeah, buzzing for it. Lovely evening, lovely chats. I just hope one of the lads and myself nick one tonight. That would be mega, that truly would. So fingers crossed, and hopefully we see you soon. Come on, Carp, you can come on the Parker baits. Wow, it's a beautiful morning, but no bloody fish. Ian unfortunately lost one last night off that rear margin spot, screamed off, and I'm like, you in? He's like, no, it's effing come off. I'm like, oh no. So this is my view this morning. You know what, it's been absolutely lovely. I've got a couple of hours left, right? I'm a bit tired this morning. It's been a busy, probably the busiest couple of weeks we've ever had at Parker Baits HQ. It truly has. For Theo, Ian and myself. So it truly has been nice to just, especially last night, I had a bit of an early night before I had a bit of an early night and time to recharge because it's needed, it really is. So it's what I've done on this session, to be honest. Still a chance of a bite though this end. I do think with the sun coming up like it is, it's going to push them down this end, right round the back over here again. And hopefully I can nick one. The rods are there in their spots where they should be ready to go, so it only takes them to move in, doesn't it? So that's the update. Good morning, and wouldn't it be nice to nick a fish before we go? I know this has been a short video, I know it has, but I can't bring you social videos every week that are 3-4 hours long. It's just not feasible. But yeah, look at it, absolutely, look at the bloody thing, unbelievable. Right, well, I thought I'd keep you in the loop for the last hour and a half. So it's just coming up to 9:30 now, and it's been a very slow couple of days, but just sort of backtracking on what's happened in a little bit more depth. Obviously on that first day put them out quite slow, Did manage to see a couple of fish ghost off the back of the spot and clear as day through the water over there on the margin. The second day come, then it started coming alive down here. The sun came up in the afternoon yesterday. The shallower water then come into play. There was fish sporadically put across that bottom end of the lake. So I've done a bit of chasing yesterday with the PVA bags and sort of just lowering a PVA bag in over sort of where I'm seeing the mists come up, hoping that I could nick one, and then sort of moved up and down a couple of times, redone the bag about 3-4 times, trying my best to sort of make it happen, and it didn't really happen. And then come back in the peg, I thought, you know what, I'm going to bing one out on the spot where I've seen the misting over there. I'm just going to cast one over there. Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of disturbance, but I'm going to cast one over there and leave that for the last few hours as it goes into the darkness, and end up leaving that rod till now as well, knowing that it's going to be really nice this morning. But I've cast the rod over there, put the tip down, almost pushed it in the clay to get that line laid cock on, put it down on my rod rest, pulled the line off the back of the spool, off the spool, sorry, and slacking my line right off. Within about 5 minutes, the bobbin smashed the blank, the rod's pulled round, and I've seen this massive commotion in the middle of the spot. So somehow I think the line's got caught on a carp, or touched the carp or something, or it's mouthed it and then pushed off it and then it's flicked off it. But there was this massive ball, the bobbins, like I said, hit the blank, the tips pulled around. I was like, pulled in, I'm like into something, looked over on the spot, but it's halfway up in between the spot and the spots. The fish are there. So that was a bit gutting, so I put the rod back out on the spot, and that sort of brings you to where we are today. Yes, them rods have been out over 10 hours now, but I'm going to leave them. I'm going to sort of hope and pray that with this sun this morning, a little bit different. It was a little bit more cloudier in the sky yesterday, and there wasn't as much sun penetrating the water in the morning. This morning it's chalk and cheese because the sun's out, there's no cloud, and it's just bang. So hopefully this shallower end can produce a bite before we leave. But if I'm honest with you, I think it's going to be more like 2, 3, 4 o'clock is when their fish are going to be down there and probably sniffing in and smashing all that bait we've put out. But it truly has been lovely to get back down the Lake of Dreams. Forever grateful for letting Dean letting us come down. He has done for a good few years now. He's a good mate of mine and a family friend, and to see it evolve over the duration of, like I said, the last probably 4 years, something like that, it's just been mad to watch. It truly has. And then now the 40s to come on, that Jessie in particular, measles, Queenie's up there as well. That's going to be knocking that 40-pound barrier. The DME fish, that scaly one, what a fish that is, you know, they're knocking that 40-pound, and that's me not mentioning a couple of others. There's also a lever in there that hasn't been caught. There's several, I think there's 20 plus fish that have never been caught since stocking, and not come out in the netting. They haven't just disappeared. So yeah, exciting, it really is exciting. But like I said, I'm on my last hour and a half now, so I'm going to sit back and soak a little bit and just digest what's going on. But hopefully you've liked this video, guys. I know it hasn't been me going over rigs, but it really has been nice to try and get into the fishing here at Dean's, because if you can nick one, there's nothing under 25 pound, or might be the 2 fish under 25 pound or something like that. There's only a couple, but he's been literally taking it all out to get that biomass right and make them fish come on and grow to serious weights, and that is exactly what they're doing. So I'm really excited to bring you on the journey again, I'm sure, for another 4 years, and show it in 4 years times, and then fish were going to be 50 pound. That's just going to be 50 pounders in your back garden. Does it get much better than that? I don't think it does, personally. So obviously I'll keep in the loop between now and leaving. I think I mentioned, and I'll mention it very quickly, Ian had a run last night, and the fish has come towards him. The lead's ejected, and he's like pulled up into it, then it pulled up into it again, and it's just not there. Well, he was in, he said he's felt it, and then it's turned into nothing. So a little bit gutted for him there, because I'd have loved Ian or Theo to have one. I really would have, but there is still chance and there is still time, so fingers crossed for now. And there's something going to happen in the last hour and a bit. Right, well, it's time to reel them rods in, and it hasn't happened. I can see Ian in front of me reeling him. Theo's got his rods in already, and it's time to leave the Lake of Dreams. Again, apologies, this hasn't been the longest video in the world, but just nice to get back down here. It truly has been nice to get back down here. But like I said, it just doesn't happen this time. But hopefully you have liked this video, guys. If you have liked this video, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos going forward. And I'll see you all next Sunday, 7:30. Peace out.